finna do music. I said, you finna do what? He said, finna do music. I said, what you know about some music? And then he said, well, I'm gonna do this with Dre and, you know, make this group and make this music. And he gave me like a couple of ounces of crack. And he said, man, I'm out, man. I ain't doing this no more. I said, well, I took it and I said, good luck, buddy. I'm gone. I kept doing it.
So being affiliated in the dope game, of course he knew people from everywhere because he dealt with all type of people from all over. You know what I mean? And that was basically his street affiliation, you know what I'm saying? So he was a real cat from the street, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? People who know.
Mind you, this is like 89, although Eric has started his label in like 86, 87, he really didn't focus on acts that he signed. He was more focused on putting out the Eazy-E record and the N.W.A Straight Outta Compton record. And when that blew up, now, you know, his label was established and now he's ready to, you know, put out other artists.
And he told me they was tripping and they threatened him. And I couldn't believe that, you know, but it wasn't Dre, you know. So I couldn't believe, you know, like, nah, not Dre, like, nah, Suge and his people and all of that.
Basically telling, because Suge actually came up to Eazy and put his arm around him, and then they walked off, and Suge was like basically trying to threaten him a little bit. So me and my brother walked over there, and Michael Conception seen us talking, Snoop mobbed up, and so Michael Conception was like, man, this ain't the time and place for that. So actually, when we went outside, we thought they was gonna try something. So we sent one of our homeboys back over here to Watts, and he brought like 7 guns. You know what I'm saying? Brought the guns back. We all got a pistol. We stepped outside and we pushed up on Suge and him like, what y'all want to do? We thought y'all wanted to do something. You know what I'm saying?
City G's, the real motherfucking G's. We didn't want to present Compton as a gangster town because it's not. There's beautiful homes and neighborhoods there. And that's why I brought in the helicopter and did the aerials of Compton and showing these beautiful neighborhoods. And that life's awesome. It's beautiful there. And I wanted to present Compton in a very good light.
You know, he was just ahead of his time, the guy. I mean, that's what the Ruthless radio show was really about. Unfortunately, we started in July 4th weekend of 1994, and he passed away March of 1995. So we didn't really get to get it off, and then he was sick the last 3 months of it, so he only really caught like 5-6 months.
So at that time, they made it official that Eazy was in the hospital. Now, remind me that at this time, he was very sick, and from what we gathered, he was signing a lot of paperwork. The paperwork that he was signing is not a secret. He was signing, different documents pertaining to the run of the company.
Last time I talked to Toker, we used to go down to Mexico with him, and he was saying how he spoke to him and said, get him out of here. He didn't want to be in the hospital. Because you remember, I think they were the only ones that really got, did you get to see him when he was in the room? Yeah. I think they were the only ones that got to see him before they moved him to that last room. Because remember, they moved him twice. They moved him like in the middle of the night. What the fuck is that about? Yeah. Man, come on. What is that? That makes no damn sense. You hiding somebody in the hospital from who? His fans? Motherfuckers that love him? You know what I'm saying? We was all on one floor. The fools was in the hallway crying and everything, and he wasn't even on that floor no more. Yeah, that was gangster.
And he was a visionary. He was a great visionary. And I just think it's so tragic that he would be taken from us on March 26th of 1995. And I myself have never been satisfied with the facts surrounding his death.
There's a lot more things that went on. The reason why we have the industry that we have, in a whole, is because of Eazy-E. He's a part of that. I witnessed that, I lived that, and I want people to know that. The industry, period. Not just gangster rap, just period, urban music as it is today. He's a part of that. Give him his credit, give him his props. Don't look over him and give other people props before you give it to that man.
This is the story of Eazy-E, the godfather of gangster rap. This is a story to give us a better perspective on his life, his personality, how he was on a day-to-day basis, how he interacted with his business associates, with his artists, and with his family and friends. I'm a big Eazy-E fan, one of the biggest Eazy-E fans you can possibly imagine. And this is what I wanted to hear, to see, to learn about. And by creating this film, I have learned a lot into his personality, his life, his lifestyle. And it's a lot of interesting stuff, and I know you're all gonna love it. You know, rest in peace, Eazy-E. This is for you. Your memory and legacy lives on forever. My name is Sergio. I am the owner and creator of EasyCPT.com, RuthlessFamily.com, and a few other Eazy-E Ruthless related websites. This documentary is something that I've always wanted to put together. Something to give all the fans out there, including myself, a closer look into the life and legacy of Eazy. I'm a big fan. I know there's so many fans out there. And I know that we all share a very similar story. We all share the story where we first heard of Eazy and we were immediately hooked. And I hear that story told many, many times by other fans. Welcome to Ruthless Memories, a documentary about the life and legacy of Eazy-E.
But I'm the Big A, originally OG from Compton, born and raised with Eric Wright, Eazy-E, AK, as everybody know him, and I'm part of that beginning of the blueprint. I knew Eric before he was Eazy-E. Eric was a good friend of mine. We did a lot of things together prior to the music business and prior to the streets, you know what I mean? Eric was a real quiet, shy guy, you know, as you know. Basically everybody knew Eric was a real quiet, shy, but he had a lot of street business sense. And that's what critiqued him and made him so different than above a lot of other people in the game. You know what I mean? There was a lot of people in the game that he associated with that didn't, you know, that knew the artistic abilities but didn't have the business sense. And since he was a futurist, he had that business sense. You know? But I knew Eric before he was Eazy-E. I knew Eric when he used to turn backflips over the fences, and I knew Eric when he used to get lighter fluid and make the gopher come out the hole, and he'll light the lighter fluid when the gopher head stood up, so the gopher would run around the backyard on fire. He would get off on that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? He was very athletic. He turned backflips, somersaults, Arabians. He was just a very athletic type of guy and very smart, but he did have a vision to succeed, you know, whether it was being in the streets hustling, or was it, you know, owning his own company, doing whatever. You know, he had a lowrider. He wanted to have the best lowrider. You know what I mean? When he, I remember days where he was my little homeboy, and we was, back in the days we would do burglaries. You know, we would go to Long Beach and do burglaries, and I wouldn't allow E to come in the house. We would just juice his car. You know what I mean? And we would have all the merchandise in the car, and he would see color TVs and VCRs. He's like, man, let me buy it from my mom. I'm like, no, Eric, you don't give moms, you know, stolen goods. We sell this and go get the money, you buy something brand new. You know what I mean? So like I said, we went way back, man. Eric would always observe, and because he didn't use drugs and smoke or drink in his early part of his life, that, you know, that kept him above the rest, you know, because all of us, we were a little bit older than Eric. Just a little bit, not that much, but, you know, we was always, you know, smoking weed, you know what I mean, drinking 40s, and he didn't like the way beer tastes, nor did he like the way the weed smelled. So, you know, that's why he became successful into the street business that he created, that he's a part of. You know what I mean? He made a lot of money hustling. Eazy was he chose his friends. See, he chose his friends. He chose the people he chose to hang around with. You know what I mean? You had to really know Eric to go to his house, knock on the door and ask him to come outside. You know, Eric was an early bird. He'd get up real early. I had a homeboy, Greg Tucker. Eric rapped about him in a couple of songs, you know what I mean? But Eric admired Greg because Greg was, you know, he was good at stealing cars. He would always have cars, so Eric would actually get up early in the morning and wait on Greg's porch, which was next door to me. We lived around the corner from each other. We lived on one street, I lived right over the street, the next street over. And which was Greenleaf. And he would wait on Greg to get up, man. You know, that's how Eric was, you know what I mean? He would wait up early in the morning, wait for Greg to get up, get us all up, and we would go do what we do, whether it's just hang out the house and, you know, get into mischiefs, or if somebody had stole a car, we go joyride and stuff like that. When Eric started, you know, I think he got a little job or something. He got him a little money in his pocket and, you know, started a little side hustle. Bought his first car, which was a 72, 73 Glass House Caprice, maroon with a white vinyl top. Yeah, it's cool.
MC Ren, revolutionary. Nah, MC Ren, you know. But I am a revolutionary though, for sure. You know.
You were young at that.
When I was young in the streets, ain't the same way it is now. You know, motherfuckers getting caught up and, you know, but it was a lot of fun too. You know, everybody else talk about the bad parts, but shit, that shit was fun too. You know what I'm saying? But it was like the same as it is now. You know, everybody's still doing their thing, man. It was hard back then. You know what I'm saying? And wasn't really it wasn't a lot of people, man, really talking about Compton, Watts, LA, Long Beach, all of that. You know what I'm saying? They thought it was just all palm trees and sunshine. Once we came out, everybody started looking at, you know.
I'm a big man. I was Eazy security, and I considered him one of my best friends. When I first met it was way back in the day. Me and his cousin, Big Horace, was friends, and he was his, you know, his little cousin. And Big Horace was, he moved a little weight in the neighborhood, and he was this little runner. And when Horace passed, somebody killed him, and pretty much he inherited the business. And we just hit it off from there, doing what we had to do in the streets. Oh, he was, man, he's just like ruthless. It was about his money, about making money, marketing, doing everything. I remember when he got some stuff from Horace had hid, and he called me over to his house, and he said, I said, what are you gonna do, man? He said, well, I'm finna rock this stuff up, I'm gonna sell it. I said, okay. And he had some big old boulders. And I said, what is that, dude? And he said, oh, just like 50. I just grabbed the whole bag. I said, no. You can give me that for 50. Don't give nobody else that. And I showed him how to cut it down, because he only knew wholesale stuff. He didn't know how to do it on a street level. He would have been giving away too much. So I said, no, man, break it like this. That's what you give to people. That's what you give to people. And we hit it off from there, man. I mean, every time I needed something, I just went to E. Crack had first hit. I mean, nobody knew what it was. I used to make run for older cats, run powder. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know how to rock up no dough. I just knew people put up their nose. That's what they do. And somebody showed me, and they said, man, look what you can do with this, you can make this. And I was like, oh, okay. And from there on, this is like New Jack City when G Money went to Nino and said, this is new stuff. I was like, what new stuff? And they showed me how to do it. it took off. So we were pretty much the first on the block because, like Eazy say in his songs, you know, the cops, they didn't know, you know. I remember the first few times I got caught with big wads of crack in my pockets. The cops would hit you on the hand and say, don't do it no more. And get a DA reject. You never went to jail. You went to jail, but court never came around. So at the first, they didn't know the city, they didn't know what was gonna happen. We didn't know what was gonna happen. All we knew, people were doing anything for it and spending and getting money any way they can to buy it. So we said, well, keep selling it. And we made a good share of money. It was a nice, I know I made a nice chunk, so I had to just imagine the chunk he made. I made a nice chunk.
Eric necessarily didn't, you know, per se gangbang. He was just like, you know, you didn't have to gangbang to be affiliated with as a gang member. You know what I mean? If you notice, he always claimed, you know, Southeast Compton. You know what I'm saying? Because his relationships and friendships was on both sides. So his affiliation was like, you know, if I get along with these dudes and I'm part of these dudes, I'm from Compton. Because, you know, a lot of people don't understand. Back in our days, it wasn't such thing as the different sets that broken up in Compton. You know, Santana Block and Line Drive, Kelly Park neighborhood, South Side. You know what I mean? It wasn't really broke up. We was all CC Riders, Compton Crips. You know what I mean? Back in the days, it wasn't such thing as, you know, all the different sets that broken up into Compton now. You know, if you was an OG, you knew you were just CC, Compton Crip. You know what I mean? So basically, you know, Eric's affiliation was Compton Crips. So that's why he was able to claim, Southeast Compton. But his affiliation with his hood was between N Hood and Kelly Park and Atlantic Drive. We all lived in those three sectors.
Yeah, and back in those days, just living in the neighborhood, you was affiliated with the gang. That's just how it was. And I never knew E to claim a neighborhood like that. He would flow all over the place. He had business places with people. Everybody knew E, but he had the backings of a lot of the gangs.
He was just a hustler, man. You know how it is. You grow up in the hood. You don't have to be gang banging, but you got homies that gang bang, or you just affiliated or whatever. He wasn't. He was just about paper. You know what I'm saying? About paper. You know what I'm saying?
You know, 'cause he was cool. He ain't never done nothing to nobody funny. You know, he ain't have loose lips. You know how to, you know, keep stuff to yourself. You don't be tattletelling and all that kind of stuff. But I know he claimed in hood, but I never heard him myself just yelling it out, throwing up signs. That's just wasn't how he rolled. But he was down for what he had to be down for.
BG Knockout. Most people remember from real Compton City G's with Eazy. Rest in peace. Eazy grew up in Compton, you know what I mean? He grew up actually in Kelly Park. He was actually affiliated with Kelly Park, but the whole side of Compton where he grew up at was the neighborhood Crips, the Kelly Park Crips, and the South Side Crips. So he was actually affiliated kind of with all those people in that area. And Eazy thing was, Eazy always been about money, you know what I'm saying? He was never really a gang member when he went and did drive-bys and rode on different sets for the hood that he grew up in, where he was from. But, you know, he was affiliated over there. Eazy got into the dope game real early, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, he used to do his thing, man. He used to do his thing, and you know, everybody know where we come from, where we grew up at, what he was doing. But he turned it, you know, took that money, started his company and did all of that, man. You know, he was out there big. When I was like 12, 13, 14, like that, he was doing his thing with that. You know what I'm saying? He always had the tightest shit, tightest cars, money, jewelry, all that bullshit. So he was doing his thing, man. And one day he just said, I'm gonna do this record thing. Because back in the day, even when he was balling, you know, before he really got real big doing his street thing, he had him and Dre had like a DJ crew.